I'm gonna tell you about one of my problem properties. Look, this property, normally I am able to, if I buy a property and I'm interested in selling it, I'm able to sell it within like a month or so. This property took me 16 months to sell. 16, one with a 6, okay? And so I just want to tell you a little bit about that story, what happened, what I learned, and really just wanting to share with you, how do you deal with a problem property? And let me tell you, I turned that problem into profit. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk with Olamide, where we talk about all things real estate. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Olamide Coyote. I am a real estate investor, a licensed realtor, as well as a licensed loan originator. I just want to share with you some of my experience in that specific deal. What did I learn? What do you do when you have a problem property? What do you do when something doesn't exactly go your way? So I'll tell you a little bit about this property. So I actually bought this property in a different city than I was in. Normally when I buy properties, I'm able to, if I want to sell it, I'm able to sell it pretty quickly. I easily find a buyer, I sell it a lot of times within 30 days, within 60 days, really more on the 30-day side. After I bought it, I find a buyer. But in this situation, this was not the case. It took me 16 months to get this property sold. And I learned a lot of different lessons along the way that I want to teach to you. When it comes to real estate investing, there's a lot of money to be made, but there are also a lot of risks that can come along. And one of those risks is you might hold on to a property way longer than you expect for a lot of different reasons. But today I'm going to give you my story in this specific example, and hopefully it resonate with you. In 2020, end of 2020, I bought a property in another city. I bought it, and actually within maybe a month or so, I actually got it under contract and I found someone to buy the property. What ended up happening is that they put earnest money down. I actually collected $10,000 of earnest money, which is a pretty big chunk of earnest money. A lot of people don't put that much money down, but I wanted to make sure that I found someone that was really interested in the property. So I made them put down $10,000. Maybe a couple weeks before we were supposed to close, they completely changed their mind. And so here's the first lesson. I had to end up refunding their earnest money. And what normally happens is, I don't know if you're familiar with what earnest money is, but it's a good faith deposit that essentially puts some skin in the game. And what should happen is, if for some reason the seller backs out, I should be able to keep the earnest money. But what happened was I ended up not doing something. I didn't do something called a seller's disclosure. So because I didn't give them my seller's disclosure, when they told me that they no longer wanted to have the property, I knew in my mind that I was like, man, you did not get the seller's disclosure to them before you sign this contract. Therefore, technically, they can get their money back because I hadn't given them the seller's disclosure. And so in that situation, I learned that whenever I'm selling a property, I will always give you, before I even get it under contract, if I'm selling it, I will always give you the seller's disclosure up front. And I normally do, but just in that situation, I think I have just gotten a bit comfortable and I didn't do it, because if they would have then said, oh, I don't want to buy it, I would have kept their $10,000, which wouldn't have been a bad situation. You know what I mean? But because I knew that I didn't follow all the rules, I was just like, okay, well, go ahead and cancel it. We'll give you your money back. And that's that. So one of the lessons was, make sure that you follow all the proper steps. Do things in the proper format, do things in the proper order, dot all your T's, cross all your I's, so that if anyone does need to cancel a contract with you, you can at least keep the earnest money. So let's fast forward. There was another time I got this property under contract again. I learned the lesson. They put $5,000 earnest money down. They canceled it. They said that they lost their job. And so in that situation, I kept the earnest money because I made sure I followed all the rules. Even though the property didn't sell at that moment, I made $5,000 on it, it was like, okay, that's fine. Another lesson that I learned, I'm a realtor. Even when I buy properties that are not in the same city as me, a lot of times I have found my buyers myself. I had multiple times when someone would come to the property, I wouldn't be by my phone. That happened multiple times. I was having issues because I just had gotten so busy. I was essentially letting buyers slip through my fingers because I was not available. 12, 13 months in, I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just pay a local realtor to help me to find a buyer for this property because it has been a year now. I found a realtor. Let me tell you, within 1 month, they had it under contract. Maybe 45 days after that, I got the property sold, and I got it sold at a price that I wanted. So another lesson was, get help if you need to get help. You don't have to do everything by yourself. If you want to get a realtor, and let the realtors help you to sell your property. Another lesson that I learned, when you have a property for over a year, sometimes you're kind of like, okay, well, am I pricing it the right way? Do I need to lower the price? I started asking myself all these different questions. Do I really need to come down on my price? So on and so forth. One thing that I learned is don't compromise on your price. And the reason why I was able to not compromise on my price, because I was getting lower offers. I was getting offers that were 10, 20,000, even some 30,000 less than what I wanted. And so I could have just sold it and just kept moving. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to just sell it. I wanted to make sure that I made the money that I really wanted to make on the property. And the reason why I didn't get desperate or I didn't even get too nervous is because of multiple things. Number one, I bought the property at a discounted price. I bought it way discounted. I knew regardless of the fact that it wasn't selling as fast as I wanted, I knew I still had an asset. I knew I still had equity in the property. So that gave me ease, that gave me comfort in the fact that I was like, okay, whatever, I'm holding on to a property. I know I'm gonna make money on it. It's just a matter of time. I bought it deeply discounted enough that I was confident that eventually I was going to make money. So buying a property at a discounted price, I only buy properties at discounted prices, and that really helped me in this situation. Another reason was because I didn't use any type of expensive funding on this deal. So I wasn't having to worry about, oh my gosh, I have this hard money lender or private money lender at a 12% interest rate that was really forcing me to buy. No, I thought in advance, and I just knew anytime I buy a property and I have it in mind, hey, if I can't sell this quickly, I'm still gonna be okay. If it takes me a lot longer to sell, I'm still gonna be okay. And even it took me a lot longer to sell than I was expecting. But guess what? I was chilling because I didn't have any type of expensive financing on this property. Another benefit in the situation was because it took me over a year to sell it. Now I'm paying long-term capital gains instead of short-term capital gains because I held the property for more than a year. So I'm able to make more money. I held it for a longer period of time. So those are multiple lessons I learned when it came to just having a property that does not do exactly what you expect. As a real estate investor, sometimes things don't go exactly as planned. But when you are strategic and you buy properties that you can hold on to in case things don't go well, that is really key in order to be a successful real estate investor. So hopefully you learned a little bit from my story. If you are an investor and things aren't going exactly your way, don't worry. Make sure that you're learning from your mistakes. Make sure that you're paying it forward. You're teaching other people so that they don't make the same mistakes that you do. So thank you for tuning into Real Talk with Olamide, where we talk about all things real estate. I hope you learned something new. Take care and have a great day.